Hey guys, Talk Shit Sports. We're back. Angel O, Jimmy Weed.
There we go. Ready to go. Ready to roll.
Repping the U over there. Look at him.
Like always, man.
Nice and green.
Nice, yeah. Well, green is what the U's basketball team is like. I mean, they've got a horrible record. I can't remember the last time they had such a bad record. I think they're like 7-15, 7-16, something like that. Not good.
They're not known for basketball.
So. No. They've had a few decent years, where they've made it to the tourney and, done okay. But, it's definitely not a basketball school.
No.
It's a football school first and foremost. I would say second baseball and then football. I mean,
I could see that.
Yeah, well, then football again, but then basketball.
You're right. Well, there's a lot of good baseball players and football players come out of South Florida. So
oh, absolutely.
I could see that. Well, we're talking about today, the first topic of the show today is the Canelo fight.
Was that a fight? Is that what we're calling it?
Did you that funny meme?
It was a glorified sparring session is what it was.
How about the meme that I saw with the guy was mad with his chips? He was getting him out of the bowl and putting him back in the bag because the fight was over.
It's insane. I mean, look, we all knew that, Avni Yildirim was not in the same class as Canelo. However, it's not his fault. It's not Canelo's fault that the WBC made Avni Yildirim the, official number one fighter in that weight division at 168. He was the mandatory. Sometimes you scratch your head as to why, whether it's the WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF, whatever, they rank their fighters so differently. Because if you look at the rankings of every single one of the boxing organisms, you can't see on all four of them that there's a list that is similar. Each one has, a different number one contender, number two. Obviously, the champs are different for the most part. But the way that they are ranked makes absolutely no sense. It's more on who you feel is, doing better. Or I think it's, more according to their convenience as to who is the number one contender and whatnot. It just so happened that Avni Yildirim for the past 2 years has been at the number one and number two spot because he was supposed, he fought Andre Durrell 2 years ago. That fight, ended in a technical decision because of a cut to Andre Durrell. He was ahead in the cards. He got the victory. And then the WBC decided that, Yildirim needed to stay in that position. Then David Benavidez fought Andre Durrell and beat him, so he got the title. But then he lost the title on the scale, Benavidez did. And, the problem was that the winner of that fight was to fight Avni Yildirim. And then it just so happens that for the Callum Smith fight, it turns out that the WBC decided that, that belt was going to be in play for Canelo and Callum Smith. Canelo won. He's the champ. And therefore, within 90 days, he had to defend the title, the mandatory, against the number one contender, which in this time, it was Avni Yildirim, which still makes no sense as to why he got there in the first place, but he's remained there. And so that's why he fought Canelo. But I think J Balvin's walk to the ring with Canelo took longer, than the actual fight.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great entertainment. But the crazy thing about Yildirim is that he had his whole country marching, and he had this whole thing about his country, Turkey, around him, and he didn't do a damn thing.
No, I mean,
where was the pride at?
In the third round, I believe, when he got knocked down, he threw 4 punches. 4. I mean, come on. How in the world are you going to beat anyone, let alone Canelo, with that amount of punches being thrown? It makes absolutely no sense. I think I even overvalued what Yildirim might be able to do, because I thought it would end in 7 or 8 rounds. Yeah. I'm surprised it lasted 3. And I mean, you saw that in the fight, after he was dropped and he went back to his corner. Joel Diaz, his trainer, talked to him and said, "Hey, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm going to give you one more round. Yeah. You got to show me something. All right." He goes, "I'm here to protect you. So I'm going to give you one more round." And then
he wasn't saying nothing.
He didn't say anything. I believe his manager was, who's also Turkish, and lives in Germany, was standing right there, and they must have said something. And then the next thing you knew, the fight was stopped, and he didn't come out for the 4th round.
I mean, those vicious body shots. Every time he got hit, it was like you saw him move. It was like Canelo's going to destroy the poor guy. I mean, but the guy didn't even fight. There was no pride.
No, he didn't fight.
No, I mean, go down swinging at least. God, I mean, it just, that's why you love when 2 Mexicanos get in the ring. They go to the death. I mean, it's not either carry me out of here or I'm going to die in this ring. So. But I don't know. I just think it was.
Well, the Burchelt and Valdez fight, the week before that.
Well, the best fight on the whole card was Zhang versus Forrest, the Chinese Zhang versus Forrest, the heavyweights.
Yes.
What a fight.
Well, that was a sort of a spectacle, just because of the fact that Shang was so big. I mean, he's huge. He looks like Yao Ming after he's had too many tacos and burritos. That's what he looked like.
He's a big chino, and I mean he was expected to be his next fight be Wilder or Fury.
Yeah.
After winning if he won this fight, but I'll tell you, I got to give it to Forrest, man. He came back with guts and will. That's what Yildirim should have did. I mean, come on, where's your pride? Where's your
Forrest got up, 4 times? He got dropped 4 times.
In the first round.
I mean, it was insane. I mean, like, every time I looked over, he was getting up and he was getting a standing 8 count or whatever. And I was like, wait a minute, what's going on?
He was cross-eyed, coming about cross-eyed. Like, I'm just glad the referee didn't stop the fight.
Yeah. Well, he fought.
There's no 3 knockdown rule, I guess.
No 3 knockdown rule.
And then Zhang, he was holding his head down. That big dude kept holding his head down. That's a lot of energy taken away from him.
That's why they took a point away from him,
which was huge.
They deducted a point.
He almost knocked Zhang out in the last round.
Yes,
Zhang was like, that would have been huge. I mean, that was a great fight. I mean, all the other fights are great too. I mean, there's a young prospect, Diego Pacheco.
Yeah, Diego Pacheco's
from
good.
LA. What is he, 18 years old? 19? Yes. He fought an older dude, 30-some years old.
Well, that's what a lot of these young dudes do. They try and step up in opponent level, and then some of the guys that they face are, older dudes who've been in the ring. They're journeymen who are going to give them a little bit more of a test. But Pacheco, it's not going to be that that hard of a fight.
He doesn't even have that grown man strength yet. Right. That older man, that strength that he has. And he looked great. He looks a good fighter. He looks like a good fighter.
Yes, absolutely. It was interesting, but everybody was there to see Canelo.
Yeah.
And now, we wait for May 8th for the fight against Billy Joe Saunders, something that we already knew was going to happen, but they made it official right after the fight. Eddie Hearn came in and said, yes, well, May 8th.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo weekend. And, it makes sense as far as Canelo.
Which is a U.S. holiday. Because I was in Mexico. I was in Mazatlan in Cinco de Mayo. And I was waiting for the party, I was like,
and they're like, wait a minute, wait.
And I was like, we're on a cruise ship, and we got off Cinco de Mayo that day. We're like, well, let's go. It was Mazatlan was a stop, and where's the party? They're like, what are you talking about? We don't Cinco de Mayo. That's an American holiday.
Exactly.
That's a gringo holiday, right? That's their excuse to get drunk, tequila, in the U.S. And I was blown away. I had no idea. But yeah, that's Cinco de Mayo weekend in Vegas. And the rumor is Raider Stadium?
That's right. Allegiant Stadium is being talked about. This fight was at Hard Rock Stadium,
right?
Home of the Dolphins. And it just makes sense because if things are starting to open up again, with the vaccines, if we're getting more and more people to go to events, bigger crowds and whatnot, then it just makes sense. Even if it's, a small capacity like it was at Hard Rock Stadium. If we can get even more, it was 15,000 people. But if we can get even more, that would be the first sporting event at Allegiant Stadium with fans.
How about that, Raiders?
I know, because the Raiders, they decided they didn't want anybody in there during the pandemic. That's fine. Good for them. But now it looks like Canelo may be the one to actually have the first event at the stadium with actual fans, sporting event. I don't know if they're going to have anything else before that, but it would be great. I think it would just be, a way of saying we're back in Vegas. They haven't said that it's going to be in Vegas for sure because they don't know whether they're going to be open.
They want fans probably.
To the satisfaction of the promotion. They want fans. Obviously, if they can't do that, they can't get it, they're probably going to go to Texas or Florida.
Right.
Why? Because they know they can get fans there. We've had already several fights. Canelo already fought with a decent crowd in San Antonio. Before that, PBC has had fights like the Earl Spence fight was in Dallas at Cowboy Stadium. So if that's the case, they'll say we're going to go to Texas or we're going to go to Florida, wherever we can get fans.
Well, I know Nevada's opening up a lot of things.
Yes.
This week, they opened up outside pool parties. The pool party club scene is opening up this week.
How does that work?
I don't know. I'll be there next week.
How does the social distancing thing work at pool parties?
Wear a mask in the pool. Right?
Take your scuba gear.
Just vaccinate the pool.
Take your scuba gear.
Just shoot a vaccine in the pool. There you go. Everybody vaccinated.
Well, enough with all the chlorine. I mean, you would think.
Well, I heard somebody say, "Right, chlorine kills drink chlorine, something like that, right? Clorox,
exactly. So all the chlorine jokes insert here. But either take your scuba gear or your snorkel gear. I don't know.
Well, that would be pretty cool. Cause I think I'm not if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure. I think Canelo was one of the first people to open up T-Mobile Arena as well.
He was the first. The first event,
right?
The first sporting event at T-Mobile Arena was in 2016. Also, Cinco de Mayo weekend. It was May 6th, I believe, against Amir Khan.
I was there. I went to
2016.
I went to that fight.
I was covering that fight.
I was there.
You guys will see pictures of that. I've got pictures of that.
Yeah.
And that was the first.
That fight was funny because I was there on a business trip, and I knew Canelo was fighting there, so we just last minute we got some tickets. One of our friends knew the De La Hoya family, and we were watching the fight, and one of them goes use the restroom. And it was over.
By the time he got back, it was
the knockout.
done.
It was over. He's like, "What happened? What happened, bro? You missed the biggest knockout ever." Like, oh my god, that was a crazy.
There was snot flying out of Amir Khan when he got knocked out.
That was a great event. That was a nice arena. Great event.
It's a nice arena. Yeah, it's a nice arena.
The Raiders going to be big. That's a big stadium.
Look, it makes sense because T-Mobile Arena, when it's full, you get 18 to 20,000 in there. So if you can actually get it, and get people to go to Allegiant Stadium, even if it's with not full capacity, you're talking 15 to 20,000 people there regardless. And then you can really have social distancing as opposed to T-Mobile Arena where you can't, because if you're going to get that amount of people in there, it's got to be a full house. So it just makes sense. It just makes sense. And I think, people are going to be really looking forward to that weekend. And, but then again, Cinco de Mayo weekend, it just, it's going to be a big party. And no matter what, things better be open, because if it's social distancing at Allegiant Stadium, God knows everybody else is, they're going to be partying throughout the weekend everywhere. And so it's really not going to matter once they go inside into the arena, because they're going to be partying all over the place before that.
Well, that'll be a fun place to be. So
what do you think of Billy Joe Saunders? And as someone said, it might as well be Billy Joel Saunders against Canelo.
Well, It's funny. I watched the highlight because I have no idea who Billy Joe Saunders is. I didn't never heard of him, and I don't even know anyone who he's fought. Like one of the people. I mean, one of the names looks familiar on there. I believe his second fight, his past fight, was at the Staples Center, and it was against I forgot, it was someone from Argentina.
God, I can't remember.
I don't know. I forgot, but it was I don't know. Anyways, looking at his fights, he's a southpaw.
He's a southpaw. He's quick.
He's a decent boxer. He looks like a decent boxer.
He's a good boxer. He's a very good boxer. He's very technical. He moves extremely well.
Right.
He's got great defense. Quick hands.
He reminds me of the guy that Ryan Garcia fought. He was a lefty too. English guy.
Oh, Luke Campbell.
Yeah, like that. He looked like
he moves better than Luke Campbell.
He moves better, but I was watching all his highlights, and I mean, I don't know. Canelo's on another level.
Absolutely. He's on another level. I mean, look,
good luck, Billy Joe. Good luck.
Canelo, in Spanish, they say, no toma paso sin guarache, which means, you don't take a step forward without having your shoes on, or in this time, like your flip-flops on or whatever. But the thing is, he knows that in this division, there really isn't great competition for him. You've got the champs. And, they've got to prove that they're better than Canelo. I don't think any of them are better than Canelo.
But Billy Joe has belts.
He's got the WBO belt.
Right.
Then Caleb Plant, who we think he's going to fight, if he beats Billy Joe Saunders, he'll fight him in September. And so that would be for the IBF crown. And then Canelo says that he wants to fight one more time in December. And that when things could get interesting.
Right.
Because there's David Benavidez, who I think is probably the best fight at 168 for Canelo. Then you got Jermall Charlo, who can come up from 160. He's a good young fighter, quick, powerful. And then there's always Triple G. There's always Gennady Golovkin, who's given him the best fights so far. Yes, Gennady Golovkin's going to be 38, almost 39 years old.
But if you look at Canelo from those fights, from that first fight to now, he's grown.
Oh, he's so much better. I think he would. I think he would knock out Triple G. I really do.
Destroy him.
I think he would knock him out.
I mean, look what he did. He just destroyed him. I mean, so good luck, Billy Joe. Good luck. I don't know, like the Turkish guy, get your paycheck. And, I think it'll be a better fight. But
it's definitely going to be a better fight.
So moving on from boxing now, we got the NFL. Big news this week. J.J. Watt signs with the Arizona Cardinals.
Man, he had it hush.
I know you're happy.
He's absolutely happy. I know a bunch of people were happy.
Can grill for him. I've seen his Instagram. He's been grilling out there in AZ.
Don't talk about that. I'm getting hungry already.
He's getting me hungry.
Need to have some water.
Makes me want to go to AZ and eat some of those food. But J.J. Watt, I mean, it surprised me. It really, really surprised me for him to join the Arizona Cardinals. Like, out of all the teams you could pick, why the Cardinals?
I think he picked them because there was obviously he got more money.
You like Scottsdale?
Than he would get anywhere else. They've got a good defense. I mean, look. Yes, I think they underachieved this past season. But that team, I mean, they've got a really good defense. You've got on offense, you've got Kyler Murray, you've got Kenyon Drake as your running back, and then you've got B-Hop, you've got Larry Fitzgerald, who can still play.
He's going to play again?
Yeah, they've got 3 or 4 really good receivers.
The Hopkins?
Yeah. They've got a running game. They've got it all. And then on the defense, look, I know that probably the Rams defense is the best defense in the NFL. However, with J.J. Watt there and Chandler Jones, those are the top 2 sack leaders in, I believe, the last 10 years or so.
Right.
So that's saying a lot. So you've got Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt now, Isaiah Simmons, Patrick Peterson, if he re-signs with the Cardinals, and also Budda Baker. I mean, that's a really good core. That's a really, really good core right there. It's a good defense. You've got Vance Joseph as the defensive coordinator, who used to be with the Texans. So J.J. Watt knows him. They've got a great scheme, and I think that's what fits J.J. Watt, the scheme that they're going to run. Right. And, it doesn't make the Cardinals a favorite or a Super Bowl contender right away, but I think that they can definitely be up there. And, one or two injuries by any team would make the Cardinals, first and foremost, they want to get back to the playoffs. They barely missed the playoffs. I think they can get back to the playoffs. One more year of experience, adding a piece like J.J. Watt. And you never know. Seattle, you do have Russell Wilson there. You have a decent team, but the last few years, it's been, touch and go for the Seahawks. Then you got the Rams, who, now they're, I think, the favorite to win the division. And then you've got the Niners, who, they're 1 year away from being, playing in the Super Bowl. Yes, they had a ton of injuries last year, but I think that, they're another team that can contend. So that division, to me, is probably the best division in the NFL right now.
Yeah, but it makes no sense for him to go. He wants to win a Super Bowl.
Well, you know what makes sense? You know what makes sense? 2 years, $31 million, 23 guaranteed.
Yeah, but
well, he wasn't going to get that anywhere else.
You don't think so?
Apparently not. Apparently his agent told everyone, if you want to sign J.J. Watt, you've got to come in around the $14 million a year scenario. And apparently there were several teams, but maybe they didn't want, to dish out that type of money for J.J. Watt. The Cardinals did, and there you go.
Well, I don't know. I think he made a big mistake. He can hang out at Scottsdale, have a good time, but the Cardinals ain't going nowhere. They're lucky. They may be last or second to last.
I think Cantu has something he's got to discuss with you.
Cantu keep barbecuing because he's not going anywhere. Bad news for Russell Wilson. He has
absolutely bad news for Russell Wilson.
He's got
one more guy that can go out and just pin their ears back and go after Russell. And
he's got to deal with him. Then he's got to deal with the Rams, Donald, the Brockers. Then he's got to deal with the Niner defense. Oh, man.
I know.
You better get out of town, Russell Wilson.
And you know what? I think that's why Russell was putting out feelers, definitely. Because, he's complained. I think he tried to keep it internal at first, and said, hey, I need help. He's been sacked at least 40 times the last 3 or 4 years. That's a lot. And for someone with his mobility, that's a lot. So you figure, how are careers shortened?
Well, look at Cam Newton.
Yeah. When you get hit, right? When you get sacked. So, he's not a big guy. He's 5'11". So, he needs help up front. And if they're not going to give it to him, that's why he started throwing out feelers. And he made it public. Oh, you know what? I need help. Somebody bring someone to help me and protect me, because otherwise I'm willing to go elsewhere. And then
rumor has it.
And then his agent started filtering out the teams. 4 teams apparently where he said he wanted to go.
Cowboys. Rumor has it.
Wow. I think that would be a great move for Russell Wilson, just because of the fact that they've got a great O-line. I think that would make Zeke Elliott great again, because you don't know what Russell Wilson's going to do. So when you have, when you need a rover to keep an eye on Russell Wilson, it just opens up the middle for your running back. And I think Ezekiel Elliott would just love that. Not that Dak Prescott isn't, a great fit for the Cowboys. Look what he's done. But yet again, he's coming back from that huge injury. We don't know how he's going to be, but it's kind of weird that, all the rumors. Plus, there also, there have been rumors that Deshaun Watson can go to the Cowboys as well. So I don't know. Dak, I don't know if he's going to be there next year or not.
Obviously, Jerry Jones is hesitating on Dak for some reason. I don't know what it is.
I don't know either.
It makes no sense why he's not got a contract.
But that's not the only place that Russell Wilson has been rumored to go. Cam
Jordan from the Saints says he'll look good in the Saints jersey.
Oh, absolutely. He would look great. You know why? Because they've got a lot of talent. Can you imagine with Alvin Kamara as the running back?
That would be the best scenario for him.
Oh,
if
my
Drew Brees
God.
retires, I mean, he's Drew Brees, a little guy too, a little quarterback.
I would send Taysom Hill and somebody else, whatever.
The backup. What's his name?
Yeah, Taysom Hill.
The other backup.
Oh, you mean
Tampa?
Yeah.
From Florida State.
Exactly. Which,
Winston.
Winston. Jameis Winston. I make it a point of not remembering Florida State guys. I really could care less about Florida State guys. No, but they could ship them out to Seattle if they want to. I mean, God, Russell Wilson in New Orleans, they're contenders again right away, and it would make them even better.
Immediately. Man, Michael Thompson, Kamara. Oh man, yeah, that'd be a dangerous team. So, but Drew Brees, I just saw him doing workouts here in California somewhere in a parking lot.
Okay, you know what?
In a parking lot.
You and I are heading to the gym again or whatever. Doesn't mean we're gonna play, right? I don't think it means that Drew Brees is gonna play again.
Well, it's off season. What is he doing? He's pushing a sled in a parking lot in LA. I think San Diego. I don't know where. I saw it's California somewhere. But what is he doing? He should be golfing.
He tries to stay in shape.
He should be having a margarita on the beach.
But remember, he lowered his base salary to $1 million just so the Saints have more cap space.
This year,
yeah. So from like 30 something down to $1 million, which tells you that it's just a little baby step away from retiring. I mean, why would you do that otherwise? And I believe if after March 17th, he hasn't made up his mind, or I believe the date where they actually have to solidify everything is in June. But I can't imagine Drew Brees dragging it on that long, a la Brett Favre, a few years ago when he said he was going to retire, and then he's like, nope, I want to play again. And so the Vikings were in on the whole thing, and also the Packers. I just can't see it.
Well, he's fear of loss from Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady's winning another Super Bowl, but they're completely different.
They're completely different.
Tom Brady knows how not to get injured. He's smart. I mean, look Drew Brees is a smaller dude. He gets hurt. So,
well, look at Brees the last 2 years.
He's broke his ribs. Oh man,
he's been hurt.
Yeah.
So and his arm strength is not the same.
Oh, you could tell. Yeah,
I mean, he's like Peyton Manning was the last couple years.
Throwing that ball wobbly.
Yeah, that wobbly ball, that didn't have any zip. And you can tell. I mean, these guys have been absolutely great. You've got Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Drew Brees, probably the top three guys as far as numbers are concerned. Yardage, touchdowns, career touchdowns, and whatnot. But at some point,
yeah,
your arm just becomes, wet noodle.
Absolutely. Well, they're talking about a new quarterback coming out of Alabama, Mac Jones, comparing him to Tom Brady. They're just saying that he could move better than Tom Brady, but they're saying they're comparing him and
I've seen a lot of draft boards by the so-called draft experts where they have Mac Jones as the 5th best quarterback coming out this year.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling he's going to surprise a lot of people. I mean, he was not the guy at Alabama the year before this, because it was Tua.
Right.
And finally he had his chance, and, he did great. Not extremely big numbers like Burrow did the year before that at LSU, but very comparable, and I think he's definitely going to surprise someone. And if he falls to like the latter picks in the first round, someone's going to get a steal.
Patriots.
Yeah. Patriots.
I think Belichick already has eyes on him.
You know what? This kid is going to be good.
And it's better for them to go later. I mean, look what happened to Burrow. He went to a horrible team and he gets hurt.
Yep.
I mean, the Sid Bengals, God, man, what a talent. I mean, just what a gruesome injury.
And that's why they need a left tackle in Cincinnati. And more than likely, they're going to go for Penei Sewell, the left tackle out of Oregon. So
they need everything. They're the Bengals.
They need a left tackle. Someone needs to protect the investment that is Joe Burrow.
I mean, how you let the guy just, the the future just get hurt like that. They're just crazy, running for his life.
That's what happens. We'll see what Sunshine Trevor Lawrence does in Jacksonville if he is the number one pick by the Jaguars.
But they should follow what Mahomes did. What they did with Mahomes, the Chiefs. Have him sit the first year. Watch the.
Well, that's the thing. They don't have anyone, to actually teach them the ropes. They don't have a serviceable veteran quarterback. Now, with the Washington football team letting Alex Smith go, they put him on waivers. That would be, the same scenario. The same scenario as Patrick Mahomes.
Same thing.
Have him play, and teach him the ropes. And even if he doesn't play,
being there with him.
Be there. He needs, any of these young quarterbacks need mentors.
Right.
I think, like in Miami, for example, Tua
has Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald. Yeah, Fitzmagic. And I think that was great because every time he would come back to the bench,
right,
Fitz would actually sit down and go over whatever they did and go, this is what I would have done, or this is why you did well. And I think that goes a long way. It goes
a long way. Look at Brady, Garoppolo, Favre, Rodgers.
I don't know if Brady really talked that much.
It doesn't matter though.
Jimmy G,
you don't need, you're there. You watch by learning, being around him, just seeing what he does. I mean, that's a whole that in itself alone is priceless.
Oh,
being around greatness, they don't need to teach you. You can just learn by watching and emulating what they're doing.
Yeah,
follow exactly what they're doing. They say like copy and duplicate. And that would be huge. I think if Jacksonville's going for the first rounder, sign Alex Smith, get him in there as a mentor. Just keep him there with him.
Something,
and that would be huge for Alex Smith. Alex Smith. Even coming back,
it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know why? Because Urban Meyer is the head coach. Urban Meyer was his coach at Utah.
That's right.
So I mean, it makes absolutely perfect sense.
Yeah.
For Alex Smith to go to Jacksonville, sign, and be the starting quarterback. Then again, we know the problems Alex Smith has with his leg.
Yeah.
But if they have a decent offensive line, because you don't want to kill him either.
They have the stash. The guy with
that's right.
Yeah. I forgot his name.
God, I don't know.
Stash.
70 porn style.
He's got the John Holmes stash.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
but I mean, they do have the ability to make Trevor Lawrence sit for a while and wait, especially if Alex Smith comes in. It would just make absolutely perfect sense.
At least a few
with Urban Meyer being there.
At least a few.
And knowing, they could both really coach Trevor Lawrence.
Hey, you got two coaches right there, Nick, on the field coach and another one. So, I mean, there's a lot of football. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, it's going to be, it's crazy. Football's over, but we're still talking about it.
There's always a lot to talk about the NFL.
I mean,
lots to talk about.
There's some new leagues coming up. I heard Johnny Manziel and Josh Gordon. There's a new league coming up.
Yeah, they're playing somewhere. I saw
it's
Johnny
not the
Manziel.
XFL.
No, it's an indoor league where I saw Johnny Manziel play. I just saw some highlights of him a few weeks back.
There was a league. There was a league started last year too. It didn't do well. It died out, but it was actually pretty good. It was a pretty good league.
Yeah,
Trent Richardson was in the league.
It was actually on Fox.
Yeah,
but the pandemic is
It was a good league. There was a lot of good players on that league.
Yeah, there were some good players.
Our backup on the Rams was one of the players in that league. He was I think he played for Arizona, the Hot Shots or something. But more football. I mean, it's great. If you love football, you get to see football, real players, people you see. That'll be great. So, but that's football for now. But we want to talk about something that happened. Obviously, our last show, we talked about Tiger Woods. Now that we know what happened, he got moved to Cedars-Sinai. He had surgery in his legs.
He broke both his legs.
Some screws and, some bad injuries. But it was awesome to see on Sunday all the guys wearing red and black. And that was pretty cool.
I loved what Phil said. He goes, you know what? Only for Tiger. First time I've ever worn a red shirt, and I had to go out and buy a red shirt because I don't own one, which is fantastic.
But I mean, to see the young guys, I mean, this is their hero.
Yeah.
This is why I golf.
Yeah. That's why a lot of people started to golf.
This is why I golf. I mean, I remember my grandfather used to golf.
Yeah.
And I had no interest. Golf was like I thought it was an old guy sport,
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid too. I had a friend.
I wanted to play baseball, football,
Yep.
basketball, like
Me
golf.
too.
But I wish I would have played then. That would have been a lot better now.
Oh God, yeah. I had a friend who I played high school baseball with, his parents golfed 3 to 4 times a week, and they would watch golf all the time. And I was like, how could you watch golf? I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like watching grass grow. I mean, why would you watch golf on TV? And then as I got older and I started, playing it and getting into it, yeah, if it's one of the big tournaments, I'm not going to, the Weed Whacker sponsored, tournament or whatever, I'm not going to sit there and watch, 4 hours of it. But if it's the Masters, if it's the U.S. Open, if it's something like that, there's some drama.
Well, because you respect the game, because when you play the game,
oh God, yes,
and you see the shots, you're like, it's such an amazing game because it's all mental. It has nothing to do with athleticism. You could have a bad day and in basketball, you're so athletic, you can still have a good game. Baseball, you can have a bad day and still go out there and hit a home run, and it's a different game. And but wow, Tiger Woods really revolutionized golf. I mean, even for someone like myself, who I was not really into golf, but when you saw him, when the documentary came out a month ago, it just made you remember how dominant this guy was. He put the fear in. I mean, you played with him in the last.
You were done.
You were defeated already.
I mean, he was sort of like Tyson in his heyday. You would go into the guys would go into a fight with Tyson and they were psyched out already. I mean, they had lost even before stepping into the ring. And I think most of these guys, when Tiger was at his peak, at his apex, I think all the guys on tour who were going into that last grouping with him on Championship Sunday or any Sunday, they were mentally defeated because he would do things. I mean, the guys were playing the course and Tiger. They weren't playing their own game, and he would psych them out so badly Tiger was just incredible when he was at the very top.
Amazing. I mean, I got to see Tiger at the U.S. Open back in, what was it, 2000? I forgot when it was, 2008 in Torrey Pines in San Diego, and the crowd that followed him.
Yeah.
It's unreal. It's like they're just, the whole crowd is following him, and he's just locked in, loaded, zoned in, and the other player has got to be like, it must freak him out because it's like
big time distractions.
Nuts. Like, and it just, what he did for golf is just huge, and see all these young guys and see what he means to all these young guys.
I don't know if they ever did a comparison as far as the crowds are concerned, with Arnold Palmer and him, because the term Arnie's Army was, the gallery that used to follow Arnold Palmer, but the galleries that followed Tiger were immense, were huge. Obviously, I think there were more people that got into golf because of Tiger, and so the crowds probably were a little bit bigger. But wow,
well, it just speaks for itself. Look at today's game. Look at all the young, amazing players there are today. The guy that just won, Colin Morikawa from LA, another LA guy, he went to Cal. He won this week. The week before, Max Homa from LA went to Cal as well. Back to back. How they talk about what this guy meant to them.
Morikawa, teared up in the interview after the. He won because he said, it means so much. Not only that, but his grandfather had passed away.
Well, he mentioned Kobe too.
And he mentioned Kobe's.
And then, he's a huge Lakers and Dodgers fan. He grew up here in LA, in La Cañada. It's just awesome to see. It's just awesome to see that. And what a great tribute, to see them come.
You got to go and get yourself, the blood red shirt for Sunday and your black pants.
Well, I'm getting it for my tournament this Saturday.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. We're all wearing red. The whole
whole
tournament. We got a tournament this Saturday.
Nice.
On the golf tour. So That's going to be fun. I never wear a red shirt so on a golf.
You got to go out and buy one, just like Phil.
I did. Amazon. It should be here anytime soon. So.
I saw a package out there when I came in.
Nah, that was golf balls.
Oh, okay.
In case I don't lose any. But that was awesome. To move on next, we're talking about some NBA, but some little controversy with Zlatan talking about LeBron, telling LeBron to stay out of politics or stay out of social stuff.
Being Zlatan.
Zlatan.
Look, he is a very controversial player. He speaks his mind. That's for sure. No matter what, Zlatan speaks his mind. But I think it's a little bit hypocritical of Zlatan, saying, LeBron, just stay in your lane, basically is what he told him, stay,
he said sports brings everybody together.
And politics divides everyone. And so you should just stick to sports and not talk about politics. I don't think the only time I heard Zlatan talk about politics or something remotely close to it is when they asked him something about Sweden, and he, because he's Swedish, he mentioned how, Swedish people should do certain things, whatever. So that you can compare it to that. Other than that, he doesn't talk much politics. However, the platform that LeBron has, is immense. It's huge. Plus, he doesn't talk politics just to talk politics. He actually lets his actions also speak really loud. He's built a high school, in Cleveland where, kids go. I believe he also has scholarships for kids that want to go to college. And, he's not the only one that during the election said, you know what? I want people to go out and vote. And so he actually started a movement to get people to go out and vote. That's not being extremist. That's not going to the extreme left or to the extreme right. He's just making people aware of what they should do. And I think someone like LeBron nowadays needs to use his platform. It's not the same in the era of Michael Jordan. Why? Yeah, Michael could get a lot of people to do whatever he wanted. But we didn't have social media. They were different times. Nowadays, everything is scrutinized because of social media. And you have another platform with social media to actually get a message out, get your message across. And I think that's what LeBron has been doing.
Well, I mean, it's two different situations. Come on, you just got a guy from Sweden. When you go to Sweden, everyone's from Sweden.
Yeah.
When you go to China, everyone's from China. Most people, right? We're in the United States of America. There's people from everywhere.
That's true.
And Zlatan, his family, maybe his ancestors weren't slaves. And it's a different ball game. For him to speak on behalf of the African American community.
True.
Zlatan didn't go through what his family and people have done, and we're still going through it. We're still going through it.
Yeah.
I mean, even being Latino in the United States, they want to build a wall and kick us out too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've been here generations.
The only thing that they don't know, they build the wall and people are going to get ladders and climb it. So no big deal, or build tunnels.
So there's still that out there, and for an athlete, people look up to these athletes for them to speak up, and they have that platform and defend their community and lead by example and be a good person about it and do it the right way. There's nothing wrong with that. Props to LeBron for doing that for his community, because there's a lot of other people out there that could do it for their community too.
And they don't.
They don't say
exactly.
anything.
There's a lot of people that have the same platform, and they really don't. It's not throwing him under the bus, but if you look at a big name in the NFL, Tom Brady, he doesn't do the same thing as LeBron. I mean, he's very hush hush, about what he believes. Obviously they're in different spectrums, different sides of the spectrum. But you would think, and like you said, coming from their own history, the history of their people. Obviously, LeBron and his community have faced much harsher and difficult situations than Tom Brady has.
Well, I mean,
and so you see it in a different light.
I mean, I've experienced it myself. I mean,
we all have.
Well, I mean, growing up in LA, I mean, police pulling you over for no reason, dragging me out of the car just because I look like whoever. I mean, it is what it is. It's part of your life actually when you grow up with it. And but you know what? Nothing wrong with that. For LeBron to do that, I think Zlatan, just because he lives in a small country and there's not much going on there, we really don't hear about it. So, it is what it is. So LeBron, do your thing. Rep your community, brother.
Absolutely.
And lead by example. So, but talking about the NBA, I know we're coming up to an All-Star game. It's going to be a one-day
affair, I believe, March 7th
in Atlanta. And the mayor's telling everybody don't come.
Well, you know what? There's places that are opening up completely,
like Texas,
for example. The governor just said,
mask
starting next week. Everything is open 100%. No mask required. Okay. You do you, Texas, I guess. But, in Atlanta, the NBA All-Star Game is a big party. I've covered NBA All-Star Games. They're big parties. And so when you get people to go into the city for, that weekend, there's parties all over the place. And that's what the mayor of Atlanta says she doesn't want, We're starting to see the numbers either stabilize or come down a little bit for, the pandemic, for COVID-19. And so it's time to, take that step forward and make sure that, by summertime, hopefully, we're all doing a lot better. And so that's why I believe she's saying that. A one-day NBA All-Star weekend or festivity, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how it's going to be with no fans in the stands. I don't know. I don't know what the need is to have an All-Star game this year.
I mean, it's big money. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's big money. Sponsors. I mean, it's big money for the NBA, but who knows? I mean, these guys are used to not playing with fans.
It's a glorified pickup game. It's what it is.
But the fans like to see these guys together. I mean, to see, back in the day, to see, Magic and these guys on the same team, and then Jordan had, Bird and those guys on the same team. Where do you get to see this stuff? It's pretty cool. Like,
but they played, for pride. Really, now it's like there's no defense played whatsoever. Right. Not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and the slam dunk contest is one of my favorite things to see. The 3-point contest, I used to love watching those. I mean, as a kid growing up, I remember as a kid, now it's different, but as a kid, it was a big deal. So I don't know.
Well, you had guys like Bird who came in.
If they can do it, they can do it.
He came into the locker room, remember, and he said, "All right, so which one of you is playing for second?" Because he knew he was going to win. I mean, he was that brash.
3-point contest?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Larry Bird he was that brash.
How about Kobe Bryant? We won the slam dunk. Rookie, he was a rookie, young guy, just won that thing. That was great too. Now it's a Kobe Bryant MVP award of the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Which is...
And they want... And Kyrie wants the logo, the NBA logo, to be Kobe Bryant.
It should be.
You think it's time we change it?
Yeah. I mean, I met Jerry West.
I know you're partial.
I met Jerry West. I've never met Kobe in person, but I've met Jerry West. I've hung out with Jerry West. He's a good friend of my lawyer, and at his house in the backyard, he's a cool dude. Jerry West is a cool, just bright chill, dude. Really smart, really cool, cool dude. But you know what? It's time to change it. He's been there for a long time.
Things evolve.
I mean, it's a very big. A lot of African Americans are very successful in the NBA, and why not be Kobe Bryant? I mean, he passed so soon. He doesn't even get to see it himself.
I don't think there's a big, flashback. For people saying no, it should stay.
Even Jerry West says
Jerry West is for it. So
the thing that I heard is that if they change the logo, the rights might something with the rights you're about to make money off. Something will happen because right now it's not like that. There's something there. That's what they're worried about.
It's always money.
You know, maybe Vanessa could take the money and donate to a charity or whatever. I mean, just
because it's Kobe's image. Is that why?
I guess rights or whatever. But who knows? Nowadays, money's everything. Like everything costs money. But I definitely think it should be Kobe Bryant. I mean, gone too soon. What a great guy. Great. I mean, just gave everything to the NBA. You know what I mean? Did everything he could do.
You know who probably is not okay with it?
Who?
MJ.
I don't think so.
You think he would go for it?
Jordan has such a big brand. I mean, it's so.
Yeah, it's huge.
I mean, he's Jordan. I mean, it's like.
Well, but I wonder what he thinks. About the younger generation saying that if there's a new logo, it should be Kobe and not MJ. Well, I mean, the guy that really transformed the NBA and made it what it is today was Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe, another one too. He came out of high school.
Yeah, but everybody compared Kobe to Jordan.
Right.
Jordan is the alpha male of the NBA.
Right.
Kobe is 1A.
Right.
First Jordan, then Kobe.
But it's a big difference. I think now that Kobe's not here, it's a hard. I mean, I think Jordan would be okay with it. I think he would. Jordan is brand. He owns a team. Jordan is huge.
Jordan is Jordan.
I mean, you got guys.
Are you wearing your Air Jordans right now?
No, I don't own one. I do not own one pair of Jordans. Not one pair.
Not one pair.
I am not a Bulls or Jordan fan. I'm a Laker fan. I owned a Converse, Magic Johnson when he first came out with his Converse.
Right.
I had a pair of those, Kobe's, but no Jordan stuff. I mean, wow. I respect Jordan, but I don't like. I wasn't a Jordan fan, and I know a lot of people that were on his bandwagon here in California as well. I don't have no respect for you guys anymore. Now you're Laker fans again, but you can go support whoever's on the Bulls now. I don't even know who's on the Bulls anymore. But NBA, so we're halfway through the season. Utah Jazz are but they got beat by the Pelicans yesterday. They're losing a few games here and there. The Lakers are not healthy.
No, they're definitely not healthy. They lost 4 in a row before they started winning again. And you can see, not only the absence of Anthony Davis, but Schroeder.
Schroeder was a big deal.
Was a huge absence, and you can see that you need someone to complement LeBron in the playmaking. And LeBron, I've told you this before. I don't think LeBron can win by himself anymore. I really don't. That's why he needs AD. That's why he needs Schroeder and maybe someone else. I think the Lakers are going to make one more move before the season's over and solidify, the team. They need somebody else.
Well, we opened up a couple roster spots.
Yeah.
We signed somebody for a 10-day contract. A guy that got dropped by Phoenix. So he looked decent in his first outing, but we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of good teams out there. The Nets are doing great, right? I mean, the Nets are playing without Durant, even without Irving, they're winning. Yeah. They're winning games. So there's a lot of good things. A lot of things can happen from now to the end to the postseason.
I'm telling you,
to the playoffs.
I'm calling it now. The Lakers are not repeating.
Yes, they are,
and we will bet.
That's why we're my Lakers.
We will bet micheladas. We will bet whatever you want. There's no way the Lakers are not repeating. No.
Remember. So, all right. Well, NBA's out. Now we're talking about some spring training. I know.
Okay. Well, is it spring training or is it T-ball or what do you want to call it? Because I don't understand.
Wiffle ball.
Wiffle ball. I don't understand what's going on with spring training.
Well, I think what they're doing now, safety. It's just a prep to get these guys warmed up. I mean, they got what, 20 pitch count?
20 pitch
so you can
count
have
max.
You could have runners on all bases, right?
Yeah.
No outs. And he's at 20 pitches. That's it. Innings over.
And he's gone. And
innings over.
And the team that's actually pitching can actually decide that the inning's over. I don't get it.
Or put a new pitcher in.
Put
a new pitcher in. And then the which pitcher they took out could come back in the next inning.
If it's the starter, yes, he can come back in afterwards. Look, I get it that you're trying to preserve arms first and foremost, because this is done mainly for pitchers. But you've got, some of these teams have
good for us.
40 pitchers on the team right now who are trying, obviously you've got your main pitching staff, but then you've got the prospects who, they want to be seen by the manager. They want to be seen by the pitching coach. How is this, actually going to help? I don't understand. Plus, you can play a 5-inning, 6-inning, 7-inning, 8 or 9-inning game. It just depends on what you come to terms with the other team. I mean, just this past week, there was a 7-inning game. And then at the end, one of the teams decided they were going to play, 2 innings of intra-squad game just so they could get their 9 innings in. It's insane just because now, and the fans that show up to the ballpark don't know if they're in for a 5-inning or a 9-inning game. It's crazy.
They don't know when to cut off the beer.
Exactly. That's what I want to know. Wait a minute. Do I have to, double fisted for the first couple of innings or what?
At least at Dodger Stadium, they cut you off in the 7th inning. So, but I mean, hey, Trevor Bauer looked great. Dodgers, man, he looked great. He was a little. He even talked about at the beginning, in the first inning, first few pitches, he was a little bit, he had to take off the rust and the excitement.
Of course.
But, man, when I saw that little curve
I'm
going
telling
in, that
you,
drop,
I think Trevor Bauer is going to be,
man.
Even though the Dodgers have Walker Buehler and Clayton Kershaw and David Price
and May and Urias.
Yeah, but I think Trevor Bauer is the guy. He is that bulldog. He is the guy.
Wow.
Look what he did with the Reds. I mean, he basically put that team on his back the last month of the season, and when they were in the play, he threw almost a shutout, like in the wild card series this past year against Atlanta. Gave up 1 run, I believe. I mean, this guy is the real deal.
Cleveland should have won when he was on that team in the World Series. They blew it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a stud, man. I mean, he's getting better. He really he's in his prime. He's got Kershaw there to mentor him too. I mean,
last year for Kershaw, he had an interview this year, and they were talking about, he becomes a free agent after 2021, and he didn't commit to coming back to the Dodgers. He said, you know what, right now my mind is on getting back to the World Series, because before, every year was getting there and winning. They'd been so close and they hadn't won it. So now his mind is on getting back and repeating. But he didn't commit, and he would not commit to saying that he is going to be a Dodger for the rest of his career. He's like, we'll see what happens after this year, whatever. He was very non-committal, which to me, I mean, if you are a Dodger fan and someone like Kershaw, who's been with the Dodgers his entire career, I would think you would want to stay with the organization, wouldn't you?
Who knows? I mean, people look at like Tom Brady, and people go to other teams and stuff like, they people do what they do. There's very few like Kobe Bryant who stick to one team, retire with one team. Jordan, Jordan went to the Wizards, but I mean, there's very few. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, I know he got traded to the Lakers, but he stayed there and he retired there, won championships there. So I don't know. Maybe he wants to go to Texas, go back to his home state of Texas.
Maybe.
Where no mask are required.
But his best friend, Matthew Stafford is in LA.
But it's all speculation. We don't even know. We don't know yet. Dodgers win another one. I mean, if it's a money thing, then yeah, because
I think it would be a money thing.
Because you got Bueller, we got to keep Bueller. We got Bueller. Right, we got to keep Bueller. We got these other. I mean, I don't know. We got the money. And
the Dodgers definitely have the money.
We got the big bank,
but I don't think they're going to want to give him a big contract.
No, because he's older. I mean, what are you going to do?
Plus, his injury prone. I mean,
who knows? Well, he's done great for a long time. I mean, he got a World Series. I mean, he's happy.
I think that's the key. Once you get the ring, everything else after that is gravy.
And he probably wants to cash in and ride the sunset.
Not like he hasn't gotten any cash.
he's got plenty of cash, but kid in California, they're taking his taxes. So
that's true.
Maybe in Texas, he'll save a little bit of money in Florida. So, but to close out the show, there's UFC 259 this weekend, 259. Stay tuned for that. Anything else you want to?
Amanda Nunes could be fighting her last fight at featherweight, I believe. What
an amazing talent! What an amazing fighter.
I think she's one of the biggest talents right now in UFC.
I think she could beat some dudes. She's pretty good.
Well, that's what they used to say about Ronda Rousey. Yeah, and then Amanda Nunes came in, and first Holly Holm, then Amanda Nunes.
Ronda Rousey went Hollywood. She made movies. Once you go Hollywood, your career is like...
Amanda Nunes is a tough woman.
Yeah, she don't mess around.
I mean, Jesus.
I hate to be married to her. Jesus. Oh man. Oh, well, you were married to, I don't know, you maybe...
I bobbed and weaved there for 18 years.
I'm still bobbing and weaving. That's what happens when you marry a Latina.
That's right.
You're gonna be bobbing and weaving.
You've got to be on your toes. Trust me.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, that's our show for today. We have a lot of great things. We got some special guests we're gonna have as well.
Absolutely.
Adriana, we had last week. Pheno Boxing. You can follow her. That was we had a great time with her, and we got a lot of great feedback from people of having her on the show. And if you want to see her,
maybe she'll come back. Maybe she'll come back.
If you guys want to see her on the show, let it be known.
Yeah,
drop a comment,
absolutely.
Put it on Instagram. If you guys want to see her, we'll get her back here, and we'll talk some sports.
Absolutely.
Boxing, we'll talk a lot of things, right?
Anything you want.
We'll make her an official Dodger fan. We'll maybe get her a Dodger hat, and she could take it home to Regal. Right, so
that's right. Her husband's an Angel fan.
So with that said, guys, it's our show for today. Stay tuned. We'll see you next week. Take care. It's all about
you, baby.
LA.